Now let's get down to business. This young man's one of the go-tos for the co-founders, one of the best speakers. I love his trainings. I just really do. He was back with us in the month of June. Now, some of you are brand new. I understand you may not have it. June 2nd, he started off with what? Double down. Get your notes out. Double down. June 9th, he came with what? No days off. Come on now. No day. Y'all been taking days off, and this don't take no days off until you get to convention. And June 16th, what was it? June 16th. Why am I playing small? Why y'all playing small? And I'm not going to tell you what to 23rd or the 30th was. You got to go look it up. Let's see if you've been taking notes. Leaders always take notes. Here's my journal. I've been taking notes for decades. Without further ado, regional vice president. He's also an influence / circle champion. The one and only. He used to be an actor, great father, and also a great husband. Without further ado, Mr. Dean Tarrolly.
What is going on? You know, it's crazy. I texted Al, man, I got a lot to catch you guys up on. So I texted Al this morning early because I had to get up to make sure there was gas in the car because my daughter is now driving and she has a job. Stop. Just stop the freaking presses. About 20 minutes ago, she was in a freaking stroller with a bottle, and 20 minutes later, this kid has got her license. She's driving my car to her job. I'm flipping out. So you guys, let me just tell you, it goes so fast, man. Like this goes, it like I'm sitting here with you guys. Like, first of all, I can't believe this. I can't believe y'all are still having me. I mean, have I broken the record for like the longest streak of month on, month off in the history of like Al Thomas's call? You guys are like, dude, I don't think I can hear this guy's voice anymore. But look, I have some stuff for you that I haven't covered before, and in a way that's maybe a little bit different. I hope you guys don't take this window of time for granted, because I start every call with Al the same way. He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to be the United Nations for ACN and welcoming all these teams, even though it's something that you find with leaders that's what they do. They understand that if one wins, everybody wins. And that, you know, it's like a salmon, man, that flows upstream. And I think it's a great model to copy. So when that day happens for you and you have a team the size of Mr. Thomas's team, and you've become a senior vice president and a multiple Circle of Champions member and all those things that go along with it, you know, remember one of the greatest things that you can do in ACN is to give back. And by the way, that's regardless of what position you hold in the company. If you are a executive team leader and you've learned something, regional coordinator, regional director, I know there's a lot of regional directors that have been training lately, a regional vice president, just know that I hope you look at it as a privilege. I do. I still do. I'm still shocked sometimes that we get to call this thing that we're doing work and get paid for it. You know, I heard somebody say a long time ago, you want to know how great ACN is? You want to be reminded? Here's how you do it. If you want to be reminded how great ACN is, put in a job application and accept the job. Just give that a minute. Sit in that spot for about 60 days, and you'll be like, oh my God, the freedom of ACN and residual income and working with leaders and not being told what to do, where to go, when to eat, when to take a bathroom break and all that stuff. And there's just freedoms that are involved, but you got to have some skill set, right? So, and I just got to say hi to someone who I haven't seen for a minute. Well, I saw the other day, but my camera was off, but I was listening in. So I just want to say hi to Roxanne. What's up, you? So you guys, it's interesting because I don't take Al for granted. You know, I know that I have someone in Al that in my run to senior vice president, I know that I could pick up the phone at just about any time. And unless he is literally traveling or on a plane, I can almost be assured that I'm going to hear back from him within an hour. It's just how it happens. And the reason that I bring that up to you is all the leaders that are on this call, they will give an example and proof of what to do. And there's nothing more powerful than leading by example. I'm not going to cover that because we've done it before. And I said I was going to try to talk to you guys in a slightly different way. So it's crazy. I have been picking up a bunch of stuff from my pastor, and the pastor that I go to. And by the way, this is not a religious thing. Do your faith, believe in what you believe. I support it so long as it's healthy and treating other people kindly. But he's had a lot of messages over the summer that I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but here's the first thought that I had. I cannot wait to talk to the ACN family about this because I believe it applies. So one of the things, kind of a theme that came up, and I sort of reworded it a little bit, is talking about here are my notes, just so you guys see it. I'm prepared for you. Here's what ACN is, okay? And what it's not, okay? So you can write this down, put it in your notes. I love it that Al always talks about taking notes because we are under the assumption that at one point, one day in the future, you're going to be teaching and training a team like this. So good to have it on notes. You can't commit it to memory. So let's talk about this. Here's what I want you to write down if you're taking notes. ACN is not a can or can't. ACN is not a can or can't. It's a will or won't. It's not a can or can't. Can I do it? I can't do it. Not really. It doesn't really fall there. It's a will or won't. I will do it or I won't do it. Why do I say that? Let me ask you guys a few questions. Do you need to be an amazing public speaker? When they say this, it's like one of the biggest fears that people have. Do you need to be an amazing public speaker to get a customer? Oh, funny. Interesting. So I guess you can do it. Do you need to be an amazing public speaker to pique someone's interest? Funny. Do you need to be this amazing persona to guide someone to a website? No. Do you need to be this unbelievable personality to meet someone on Zoom? No. Interesting. Now, am I saying that I don't want you to be those things? I want you to be those things if you want to be those things. But I think we got to set the record straight here and have some locker room right out of the gate in August. Because look, you guys, I was looking out of this group. I know I was very direct in July. And this was about getting you some freaking production, getting actual results on the books. And I know that that's one of Al's favorite things for me to go over with you. So when we didn't get the numbers and the things necessarily that we wanted, and we had some good stories, I had to go back myself and go, what are we missing? So I had to look at two different things. Number one was this phrase is ACN is not a can or can't, it's a will or won't. You either will or you won't. But then you have to go, well, I will or won't what? Right? Like, what are we talking about? I will or won't what? Well, here's some things, okay? And I just said will. So if you want this to work, and you guys know how I feel about this, for at least for those of you who have heard me before, if you're at the position that you wanted to get to, if you were striving and working and your end goal was executive team leader and the supplemental income that would provide, then I tip my hat to you. You've done it. You set a goal and you hit it. I think for most people on this call, I think the reason you guys are on these calls 5 days a week with Al, 5 days a week with Al, on these calls consistently is because you're probably not at the position that you want to be. I just have to do this. I got to get this out of the way. Sharian, this is the most conservative office look you've had since I've met you. Let's get that out the way. I know I'm saying what some other people are thinking. Sharian, with you and your glasses, I'm thinking about we're going into like a real estate transaction, or we're going to talk stocks and bonds, whatever. Okay, now I got it out because if I didn't say it, it was going to be in my head. Now listen, let's go over this list of wills, right? It's not a can or can't. It's a will or won't. Okay. So I will learn the different peaks. Why do I start? The first thing I talked about, and I'm going to end with this as well. Why would the very first thing about all the things that I will do are learning different peaks? I'm going to tell you why. Because ACN is nothing more than a game of exposures. Everything that ever happens that's positive in your business comes out of exposures, whether it is somebody being a customer in your business or someone looking at the business and joining your team. It all comes out of exposures, 100%. There's no way around it. You could say, well, I'm going to go out and get customers all the time. Eventually, you're going to be presenting to people, and mark my words, the tide will turn and you will start peaking and presenting, and your customer base will come out of the people that they just, maybe it's not a fit or it's a timing issue. So I'm going to come back to this in a minute, but I will learn the different peaks. Why are there different peaks? Because there's different people. I'm not going to talk to the server at the restaurant, by the way, which I was. So I'm not, there's no judgment here, but I'm not going to say to the server at the restaurant, do you keep your business options open? I'm going to say to the server at the restaurant, hey, do you look at other ways of making money? Are you open to making money outside of the restaurant? But then if I run into Sensational Sharian and she's the head of a real estate office, I'm not going to ask her if she's open to making extra money. It's almost insulting. I would ask Sensational Sharian, I would say, hey, Sharian, do you look at other businesses? I found a business I think is amazing. I'd love to get your take. And I'm going to craft with my words a few different things to reach the person based on what I see that they are doing, or maybe their age, level of experience. How about this? I will be observant. You either will or won't. And I have to write that down because sometimes when I give you guys notes, I'm taking notes myself. Why is that? Because there are people that are standing right in front of us, literally on a daily basis, that we miss because we're so caught up in our daily lives. We miss somebody literally giving us a freebie. We're literally missing someone in the restaurant, in the coffee shop, in the gym, at the car dealership, wherever. And they're literally doing this. The only thing they're not doing is sending up a freaking flare going, oh my God, peak me. I need something. Like you almost overhear the conversation and we pass on it. Why do we pass on it? Because we're busy people. I got to get to my this. I got to get to my that. I got to get to my appointment. And all it would have taken is one simple peak. You'd have a phone call set up, and next thing you know, you've got a brand new business partner on your team because you were being observant. So what are the first two? I will learn the different peaks and I will learn to be observant. Here's some others. I will learn the system. Well, what does that mean? Well, the system's the same for all the different teams, you guys. There's some language differences, maybe some things a little different order, but the system is still the same. The three things that Al always has me talk about in one way, shape, form, or another: acquire customers, build a team, and promote the events. That's the system. That's the system, right? And then how does that work within your team and your organization? Is there a weekly event on Zoom that everybody plugs into? Is there a weekly training that everybody plugs into? So now you get some consistency with the people that you are working with. Learn the system. Here's another one. It's not a can or can't. Listen to me. It's not a freaking can or can't. It is a will or won't. I will learn the comp plan. See, a lot of you guys are doing ACN and you don't understand the comp plan. You do not understand the comp plan. I spent some time with Tony Kupas. He was in Southern California. Oh, hang on one second. He was out here, and one of the things that we were laughing about this. And Al, if you want to comment on this, I think it's really funny, right? And it's, by the way, this happened at an event I did for Al Thomas, 100 years ago in Vegas. So check this out. What's the last one I said? I will learn the comp plan. So it's funny because back in the day when we would do these regional events, and all these leaders would come in and people are like, everybody wants mindset. I want mindset. I want mindset. I want mindset. It's mindset. And then what's next? What does everybody want? Team building. I want team building. I want recruiting. I'll do recruiting. I'll do recruiting. And then what is it? Events. And then it's customers. I'll do customers, especially with all the new stuff. Complex. So boring. Tony and I looked at each other like, boring? This is why you do ACN. You want to know what's going to keep you up at night? You want to know what's going to make you lose freaking sleep? The comp plan. The comp plan. There's nobody on this call that said, you know what, man, I'm signing up 199. I am going to be, it has been my goal to be a customer acquisition expert in my industry. No, it's not. No, it's not. I want to recruit. No, it's not. That's not what it is. It's the comp plan. It's the opportunity to build a bonus income upfront that fuels a residual long-term. I would know that thing frontwards, backwards, left, right, center, upside down, right side up. Does that make sense? You guys, that fuels everything. Comes down to the comp plan. And when you really learn it and understand it, it's such a work of art. It's a genius comp plan. There are no holes in this comp plan, especially with the position of regional coordinator to bridge the gap from ETL to RD. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the comp plan training, ACN Compass training right there. And there's a comp plan training, right? So got to learn the comp plan. What's next? It's not a can or can't. It's a will or won't. Learn the website. You guys know that there are people to this day, and I'm just going to be transparent about this, that have been in ACN way longer than the types of questions that they have. like what? How did that? Am I drunk? Am I? Look, it is 10 a.m. I have not had a Bloody Mary. I have not had a mimosa. I have not. Am I drunk that you just asked me that question? Where is it? What? Now, look, now listen, I'm having some fun here. If someone's new 30, 60, maybe even 90 days, I get it. Someone's asking me certain questions. They've been in 3 years. I'm not saying someone, listen, oh my God, Al, don't yell at me. I'm not saying that someone who's been in 3 years shouldn't have questions. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying someone who's been in 3 years should not have the questions of someone who's been in 30 days. Do y'all agree with that? Absolutely. Learn the website. How about this? Learn ACN Compass. I got a great gal, a phenomenal new team member on this call named Christina. True story, full disclosure. Here's what happened. Okay, so our team, the system from my group on down, including some of the other RVPs that plug into this call with Al, we have these briefings that we do daily. And then I would do a Saturday training. And many of you have plugged into this, our Saturday training, which Al already knows. Anything that I do that he wants people into, it is open door, red carpet, happy to have you, no questions asked, all good. If not, don't worry about it. I trust his judgment on all this stuff. But anyway, my point is, we were doing the briefing and then we'd have Saturday training like a lot of teams do. Well, about a month ago, we changed this up. And so now what happens is the first Saturday of every month, we're all together on a Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11. But the rest of the month, whether it's a Saturday or other days, the regional directors are all doing their own trainings. So I want to make sure you understand it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on a Saturday. Like we have realtors and Saturdays sometimes can be tough for them. So a couple of my guys do trainings on Wednesday night. Jocelyn and Carrie do Thursday night. I happen to do Monday night at 6:30. Pacific. And in that training, what we do in 1 hour is this. Now watch the story. In that 1 hour, we do a presentation, we do a quick overview, and we cover mindset, comp plan, customers, team building, and events in 60 minutes or less, done. And then everything leads to the first Saturday of the month. So why do I bring this up to you? Here's learning ACN Compass, because it's going to come back to this. You guys bear with me. Everything's going to come full circle. So there's a girl on this call, great new team member named Christina. Christina was invited to look at ACN at one of my regional director's office named Ted McDaniel. I showed her the business and it was a Monday. Here's what I did. Monday night, I invited her. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to do a quick overview and kind of show you our system. And I would love to invite you on. She goes, I'm there. Well, freaking sure enough, she's on the call. She watches the quick 1 hour presentation and training. And literally when we're done, everybody was logging off of Zoom. I said, Christina, I gotta ask you, first of all, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for jumping on today. It's been great to meet you. What do you think? Her next was, she goes, I'm in, I'm doing this. Sign me up. Sign me up. Within 24 hours, all I did was give her the name ACN Compass. She was on there on her own, watching videos on her own, getting trained on her own, getting information on her own. And by the way, let me ask you all a question. How do you feel when someone like that comes across your business? Right? Oh my, look at Hal. It's like, I said to Ted, Ted, I don't know what you said. I said, I don't know what you did, but you found one. That's what I said. I'm gonna be honest. I said, you found one. She started doing stuff on her own. Well, guess what's going to happen? Because it is a will, it is not a can or can't. It is a will or won't. Mark my words. That will duplicate out. You guys have heard me train on this before. She's going to attract people to the business that are going to do the same things that she is. And don't be surprised when you hear other stories that lead back to this individual. So she learned ACN Compass. And by the way, she's been in the business for like 6 minutes. Right? She's been in less than a month. How about can or can't, will or won't learn customer acquisition? Don't be trying to come off like some salesperson selling everybody on everything. You will or you won't learn the philosophy behind acquiring a customer effectively the way the ACN system teaches us. Three sources of customers. Number one, yourself. Number two, people who look at the business and pass. And kind of a far third is everybody else. Why do we teach it that way? You got to learn it to understand it, the philosophy behind it. Learn recruiting. It's not a can or can't. It's a will or won't. You will or won't learn recruiting, which ties into piquing interest. You will or won't learn the philosophy behind recruiting and why that works in every industry. Unless you are a sole proprietor, that industry or business recruits. By the way, check this out. Have any of you ever seen or driven by a store? And I'm sorry, this is totally rhetorical because I already know the answer is yes, but I'm setting you up. Just telling you, full disclosure. Have any of you guys ever driven by a store, place of business and saw a help wanted sign? What is the help wanted sign doing? It's recruiting. A help wanted sign is recruiting. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you like more help in your business and your team for your goals and your vision? Yes or no? Right? You can or can't, which is not what it is. It is a will or won't learn promoting events. I'm not going to go into a promoting events training, but I'm letting you know you will or won't learn how to do it, depending on what you want out of ACN. How about this? It's not a can or can't. It's a will or won't learn the self-development process and read. People go, man, I did a ton of ACN today. What'd you do? Well, I read this and I read that and I read this and I read that. You didn't know ACN. You were preparing to do ACN and you were building yourself up to be the person that's going to attract the type of people that can take your business to the next level. But I'm going to tell you something that's common with all the leaders. Self-development and reading, right? Like you guys, yes, audiobooks are great. We're in the car a lot, especially if you live in LA or some of the big cities, but I'm letting you know right now, there's nothing more valuable to me than building a library where you can write in those books, make those notes for you. It's not that you can or can't, it's you will or you won't. And that's up to you. So here comes the next one. And this is a biggie. So I hope you guys are ready. Too bad more people's cameras aren't on. I really like to see people's faces. What's up, Lance? See who's on here. Loveline. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm just picking up these people I haven't seen for a minute. Okay, cool. So here is the last one I want to talk to you guys about. It's not a can or can't. It's a will or won't. Learn to effectively lead. Learn to effectively lead. And you know what effectively leading really means? And by the way, I know I have to get better at this too. I mean, look, we're all a work in progress, right? It doesn't matter what position you are in the company. We're a work in progress. And effectively leading really comes down to effectively listening. And, you know, this is kind of I don't mean to make this gender specific, but the women have a little bit of a hand up on this over the guys. Because I mean, how many of you ever been in a relationship and the female partner says something like this? The female partner says something, and the guy says, "I hear you, I hear you." But the problem is, the guys are already going, "Oh shit, dude, here we go." Why'd you have to go here? right? Like the guy goes, I hear you. And the woman says, you hear me, but you're not listening. And one of the ways to effectively lead is to listen to the people that you're working with, really listen to them so you can find where they are and you can make a game plan together. And then maybe this is the most important one, right? This is not a can or can't. Oh man, I got to put a star next to this. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, here it comes. By the way, this is going to be easier for some of you than others. That's why I just had to write it down. Okay, here goes. This is not a can or can't. This is the ultimate will or won't. You will or you won't be coachable. And a lot of times being coachable means hearing something that you don't want to hear. Maybe at a time you don't want to hear it. Right? But if you are, you know, I do this with some of the people on my team. I know that I say stuff that they've heard over and over and over. But what'll end up happening at one point, there will be a watershed moment. There will be that time where that drop of water finally breaks the board. It, like this water keeps hitting on the board. It's like, oh my God, it's so annoying, so annoying, so annoying, so annoying, so annoying, hearing it over and over and over. I've heard Dean's voice. I've heard his message. I've heard what he's saying over and over and over. And then that last drop, not all of them, watch this, not all of them, the last little drop hits the water, breaks the board. And all of a sudden it's like, you know, the clouds broke, the sun is shining, the angels wept, and it's like, oh my God, I get it. So wrapping, kind of bringing everything to a close here, you guys, remember that I said this, exposures are everything. Exposures are everything. Everybody's business can literally has the chance to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour, just simply based on the number of exposures. And if you did nothing but just make a decision that I will peak, I will share, and not be concerned about whether people get it or not, like it or not, do it or not, watch what happens. And you have to understand that it is okay to go from bad to good, good to great, 8 to excellent, and excellent to expert. Like that has to happen. That progression has to happen. You can't skip a step, right? It doesn't really work that way. Life doesn't really work that way, right? So I have something to show you guys to wrap up. I think this is pretty cool.
One day, Albert Einstein was teaching his class and wrote on the board, 9 times 1 equals 9, 9 times 2 equals 18, 9 times 3 equals 27, and he continued all the way up to 9 times 10 equals 91. The class broke out in laughter because Einstein made a mistake. The correct answer to 9 times 10 is obviously 90, not 91, and the students began to make fun of him. Einstein waited for everyone to be silent and said, "Despite the fact that I analyzed 9 problems correctly, no one congratulated me. But when I made one mistake, everyone started laughing. This means that even if a person is successful, society will notice even the slightest mistake." So today's reminder to you is that mistakes are a part of the process. Because as Einstein once said, the only person who never makes a mistake is someone who does nothing.
Does that make sense? You guys, so watch this. I'm going to rip these off. I don't care if you make a mistake learning the different peaks and you make a mistake and you're observing. I don't care if you make a mistake learning the system. I don't care if you make a mistake learning the comp plan, learning the website. I don't care if you make a mistake on ACN Compass. I don't care if you make a mistake learning how to acquire customers or recruiting. I don't care if you make a mistake learning how to promote events. I don't care if you make a mistake learning the self-development tools and picking the right, wrong books, whatever. I don't care if you don't know how to effectively lead correctly and you don't know how to do that yet. And make mistakes. I don't care if you make mistakes being coachable. Don't let that happen for too long, but I don't care. What I care about is that you will or you won't do those things. And if you don't do those things, you're going to be playing it safe, right? But you're not going to go anywhere. So you just have to understand that that is part of the process that you're in on what you want ACN to do. So accept it. But just remember that I told you this. This is not a can or can't. This is a will or won't. And the most important thing is the will of your will. And if you do it, watch where you'll be by the end of this month. So, Mr. Thomas, that's what I got. 42, pretty good, pretty close. That's what I got for you, man.